Hi everyone, this is Dan, and this is the Amazing Spider-Man number 251, and this is the beginning of my series called The Path to Secret Wars. So this is the last issue of Amazing Spider-Man before Spider-Man gets sucked into the Secret Wars miniseries. And I thought it'd be a really cool and fun series of reviews and videos to do of all the comics that lead up into Secret Wars right before we actually go over Secret Wars. So, going to be a lot of 80s Marvel videos coming up. I'll try to break it up a little bit with some other comic reviews in the middle of it, but mostly going to be 1980s Jim Shooter staples for a while. Anyhow, you got a really cool cover right here. Here's Spider-Man. He has the mask of Hobgoblin shooting out from the water right here. Endings, pretty cool. We open up, nice splash page. There's a fire going on. They've got some firefighters fighting this inferno, and you get some great narration right here. It explains where Hobgoblin was. So this is a Hobgoblin Spider-Man story. I think this is the conclusion to a story. It started in the last issue, but like any Jim Shooter comic or Jim Shooter era 1980s Marvel comic, you don't have to buy the first issue. You can actually just buy this and read it as is because the narration is enough to get you back into the story. So essentially, Hobgoblin found some journals from Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin, and they kind of showed off the secrets of the Green Goblin and all of his nefarious dealings. Right? Spider-Man learned about that the Hobgoblin had found this, and also that Harry Osborn and J.J. Jonah Jameson were being blackmailed by the Hobgoblin. So they both got into conflict. They had a fight, and now the building that they were fighting in is caught on fire, and the firefighters are trying to clean up the mess. So this is a really cool story. I rarely read Spider-Man because I've never been a super Spider-Man fan, but I forgot that Spider-Man is actually pretty fun and hilarious at times. So here, Hobgoblin wakes up before Spider-Man. He's all bummed out because Spider-Man foiled his plans. Here's the journals and the blackmail information. They're all burning apart now. He has nothing. Hobgoblin's pissed off, so he's about ready to beat Spider-Man to death. And at that time, he also notices the building is falling apart, so he's like, okay, F this. I got to get the hell out of here. He freaking runs through, and then he's about ready to run over Spider-Man. And he crashes through the building. He goes out. And it's kind of, it's really cool. There's a lot of panel-to-panel cliffhangers where you think he's killed Spider-Man, but then Spider-Man manages to get the jump on him. So this is pretty cool. Spider-Man ends up grabbing the underbelly of the van as the Hobgoblin's running away. And you get like really great multiple pages of just action and conflict with the two as they fight each other. And this is pretty hilarious. So Hobgoblin's like, the fuck, when Spider-Man freaking jumps in front of the van because he thought he ran him over. And you get a real, also a callback to 249. The Hobgoblin had found a way to get rid of Spider-Man's spider sense. So Spider-Man's kind of running around blind. And Hobgoblin's like, yeah, you can do nothing to stop me. My windshield is bulletproof. And then he's like, oh, fuck. Because Spider-Man starts breaking the windshield. It's pretty good. So he's like, okay, you want to play tough? He takes the bus and freaking runs it through a freaking restaurant to try to kill Spider-Man. And he thinks he's killed Spider-Man, but then Spider-Man actually jumped to the top of the van and made it to and hid behind a turret. And then he notices that this is the door to the van, and this is pretty cool. This is like epic too. All the narration that is done here. By the way, totally forgot this is written by Roger Stern, or the plot is by Roger Stern. Tom Defalco did the dialogue, and Ron Frenz did the pencils, and the great Klaus Janson did the inks. Yeah, a lot of people worked on this. So he goes out and freaking Spider-Man's like, okay, that's it. Freaking rips off the freaking door of the van and jumps in and start beating the shit out of Hobgoblin. But Hobgoblin kind of gets the jump on him because Spider-Man doesn't have his senses. And he gets shot and he's getting punched and beaten the crap out of. And then he gets his ass whipped so hard that his spider senses come back, which is pretty funny. Because then you get this one where the Hobgoblin's about to knock him over, and he totally misses, and now Spider-Man's like, okay, it's time to freaking dance. And you get this one right here. Here, Hobgoblin's like, oh, not bad, Spider-Man. And they get a little bit of back talk. And this is a pretty good-looking panel. It'd be kind of nice if someone drew it, right? So they get to a fight with each other, and this is a great scene right here. So Hobgoblin throws some smoke bombs that have nerve gas in them, and he thinks he's finally defeated Spider-Man. But then freaking Spider-Man has held his breath, and he just fucking decks him right in the face. This freaking panel's great, by the way. So the van drives off a pier, and they get into an underwater fight. And I like how freaking Spider-Man freaking shoryukens him. This is long before Street Fighter, by the way, so pretty cool stuff. And eventually Hobgoblin gets knocked out. Spider-Man has to kind of save him. They fight each other, and Hobgoblin, not aware of what's going on with the van, he ends up destroying the van and blowing it up. Mile High Comics. So Spider-Man gets picked up by a police boat, and he asks for a camera. Jumps down into the water and tries to find Hobgoblin. All he can find is his mask, and that's kind of the callback to the cover right here. We get the subplot stories. Spider-Man confronts JJ, and after some shit talking back and forth between the two, Spider-Man tells him, like, hey, you were getting blackmailed, but you don't have to worry about Hobgoblin. I took care of him. But JJ basically tells him, like, you're too late because it's my fault that the Scorpion was created, and I've decided to take responsibility for that and step down. And Spider-Man's kind of, like, shocked at first, but, JJ's kind of like, don't get too happy because at the end of the day, I'm still going to freaking take you out. And here's the guy who's going to be replacing me. And you get a little awkward moment right here. You could, like, imagine Spider-Man just kind of like, sup. And you get the other final subplot, which is Norman Osborn. And, Norman and Peter Parker are having dinner, and they're still friends. And Peter's kind of telling him, hey, whatever your dad did, you're not your dad. So, live your life, and aim to be better than your father, right? And what he had done and what he had become. Really good storytelling, really good writing. This is like classic Peter Parker and Spider-Man as heroes, right? Like, true to who they are. The 80s, they never ever try to destroy Spider-Man's character, and that's kind of the nice thing about picking up an 80s Spider-Man comic. You get the last detail right here where Spider-Man's spidey senses go freaking crazy, and he looks around, and he kind of like, you get this right energy where it's like, okay, whoever the hell this is, I got to deal with it because this is a problem. Puts his clothes in Central Park, gets on the Spidey suit, jumps out, and what does he find? A freaking super space arena in Central Park. So he swings in there, and as soon as he enters, he flashes, and we go to Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars #1. So overall, very, very fun issue of Spider-Man. Lots of action, a lot of funny panels, great art, great panel design. By the way, yes, I did actually draw this. If you guys follow my Minds channel, I actually do art once in a while. This was penciled and inked. Not the world's greatest job. I'm not that good of an artist, but I do enjoy just sort of the process of penciling and inking. It's really fun and it's really cool when you can get close and you can get good inks in here, right? Like, had to get some of the detail. I still think I screwed this up a little bit. And then I think Spider-Man's a little too small. I think I goofed that compared to the, where's the panel? Yeah, here's the panel, right? And here's my art. Yeah, and I think, Spider-Man's too small. Spider-Man needs to be bigger. But, oh well, I'm not a great artist. What can I say? Anyhow, that's it. That's for the review of Amazing Spider-Man 251. If you liked this, please hit the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed or you're considering subscribing or you've been watching a bunch of videos and you're like, I don't know, please subscribe. You're going to have a great time. You're going to have a great time doing Secret Wars and all the comics around Secret Wars. Also, European comics, independent comics, DC, manga. Definitely got a great mix here on the channel. And if you do subscribe, please hit the bell for notifications so you know when a video comes out. And if you have any comments about the Amazing Spider-Man 251, Spider-Man Hobgoblin, 1980 Spider-Man, my extremely mediocre art, or Secret Wars, please leave them down below, and I will see you next time.